and I think a lot of you are too, but September 10th should have changed you as well. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the death of Charlie Kirk and what has followed is truly impactful. And what is happening today is important. It's important to you, it's important to me, it's important to our state, but it's not the most important thing. You get me? Okay. So you have been pulled. I can guarantee it. Probably right now, you have people texting you, sending you messages saying, do you know that this is live on TV somewhere in the universe? And there's all these strangers who have never cared anything about the party who have showed up today. Cool. We welcome you. We're so happy you're here. But please don't be distracted. Please focus on what we're doing here and your job. And so some of the things I'm going to have to say you're going to like, some of the things you're not going to like. But my job is to tell you like it is. First of all, the Horns are going to win big today. I'm ready. I was hoping my first picture. Okay, yeah, there we go.
AI.
Oh, and I do, I'm not very quick to endorse anybody. Brad Johnson, I'm endorsing you today for state rep. Okay, let's get started. Next slide. Okay, so at RPT, we like to keep it 100. Okay, so what does that mean? We tell you the truth. We tell you like it is. That's what we're going to do here today. Next slide. Last session, we had the unlawful impeachment of our duly elected Attorney General. And so what did we do as a body, as a delegation at state convention? We changed our rules. Okay. So we added penalty 3, which has never been done before. It's brand new. We added that any county party could originate a censure of the speaker. So y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay. So it's important to understand the derivation of these rule changes. Next slide. This session, we had a speaker fight, and we were in it. As the chairman said, the party, we have in our platform that the Republican caucus should follow what the Republican caucus does. And we insisted that that be done. It wasn't, but we were in that fight. Next slide. We had people like the TRCCA president making these kinds of statements about us and about a state rep saying that we're irrelevant. And so what did this do? Did it make the grassroots just sit back and say, oh, everything's cool? No, it made the grassroots activated. It made you activated. And I want to take you through this so you understand why we're where we are today. Next slide. You had people like this man who we're thankful for you, Ralph Fight. This man said, it's sad some boss tweed wannabes in the Texas GOP try to claim the mantle of the grassroots. So these kinds of messages on social media, these kinds of messages at meetings of Republican groups, this generated a lot of animosity and hate and shoot, I think some county parties tried to censure people who hadn't even taken office yet. So that's what was going on. Next slide. We even had a state representative try to throw our chairman in jail, actually prison. So he filed a complaint against our state chairman, claiming he had committed a felony. Okay. Do you think that made everyone unify or not? No. Next slide. A lot of people who are talking about this, they didn't even show up at the Capitol this session. They didn't even submit comments on bills. They're just in their basement tweeting about us, about things. They're not in the fight. Everybody here is in the fight. Next slide. By the way, that's Andy Eller, who was our well, now he's our resolutions committee chairman, but at the time he was our elections chairman, and he was fighting for us at the Capitol, and like so many of you, reviewing bills. It takes a lot of work to follow the legislation. Matt Tiskus is nodding, he knows. How long did it take for you to get school choice? How many sessions? Right, a lot. Took a long time. So this session, right off the bat, we did get school choice, and President Trump did endorse all of the Republican caucus members who supported school choice. And so who is that? That's all but 2. Okay, so Representatives Van Dever and Phelan did not vote for school choice. Everyone else right now for the next term has an endorsement of our president. We also got 5 new congressional seats. And so that's what happened this session. Next slide. And then when the Democrats ran away, what did that do? Did that help us unify? Yes, it did. And so you will remember that. Next slide. And then on Thursday, so in September, we sued the state of Texas and the Secretary of State to close our primary. Y'all know that? Okay, we did that. On Thursday, we filed a motion for a consent judgment in conjunction with Attorney General Ken Paxton representing the state of Texas. That is what's going on in our lawsuit. So I want you to think about all the work that went in to setting us up for success in that lawsuit. It took a lot of work, I can tell you. And it's not over, but this is an example of a successful setup for a lawsuit and for a good result that we want. Okay, next slide. Rolando does tweet, not from the basement. And this was, to me, I think it's a very important tweet because I do agree. There's been a lot of discussion about what we're doing here today, what's happening. A lot of people who aren't involved or want to misuse the process. And I want to alert you to that, that is real. There are some people who want to, there are lawyers involved, let me just say. Yes. Okay? And so a lot of this is generated by lawyers. So it's people spinning people up and doing things. And one possible reason is they want a legal fight to try to undo the good work we've done in our closed primary lawsuit. They also may want a legal fight so they can try to defeat our wonderful chairman at next convention. Who knows what they're thinking? But I want you to know that that is real. And so I thought that Rolando put it very well. And I wanted you to be aware of this because some of you may be sitting there going, I know all this, Rachel. Ugh, whatever, let's move on. But a lot of you don't. And so I'm speaking to everyone, and I'm going to go through some things you may or may not know, but it's vital that you understand them. Next slide. Okay, fundamentals of censure. Today, next slide, you have 10 censure resolutions that will be considered. Next slide. This, let me just say, in your digital packet, this is available for you to look at. So if you look at this and say, I want to refer to this as we go along, you have it available to you. But this is a summary of each censure resolution that is being considered today. Next slide. So you have to have 3 several actions in order to have a successful censure. And the actions must be in opposition to the core principles of the Republican Party of Texas or our legislative priorities. Next slide. You know our legislative priorities, but they are referenced here. They are also referenced on our website. Next slide. And the platform principles are also on our website. They're also listed in this document that's available to the members. Next slide. I look at today's work in 2 phases, and some of you who watch Law and Order may understand this. There is the guilt innocence phase, and then there's the punishment phase. So I think that's the easiest way to think about the work that we're going to be doing here today. The first phase is, do you concur? So some people either can't read or don't seem to understand. Censure resolutions under our rules start at the grassroots level, start at the county party. So these are censure resolutions from our county parties. What are you asked to do as SREC members? You're asked to concur or not. And in order to concur, what level of membership is needed in a vote to concur? 3/5. Okay. So that's the first step here, is the concurrence phase, and 3/5 of the full membership is required. Next slide. Then there's the penalty phase. All of the 10 censures today, except for the speaker censure, have requested penalties 1, 2, and 3. Again, the speaker censure only requests penalties 1 and 2. And I have the penalties here. Next slide. Penalty 1 is laid out here. It's in our rules. It's also in your digital packet. Penalty 2 is the next slide. And then penalty 3 is the slide after that. To be very clear, penalty 3 is brand new. We have never used it before. It is a death penalty. And I better not say that. I was gonna, the death penalty is for what? Child killers? Yes. Yes, exactly. Robert Roberson. But the death penalty is for the worst case. Does everybody understand that? It's not for the worst case this session. It's not an annual award. And I think some people are misunderstanding what the point is of censure. The point of censure is not an annual award or a legislative term award. Censure is something that should be used as necessary, break glass when needed. And the death penalty should be very sparingly used. Okay? Next slide. This is the Jim Pickle rule. At convention, last convention, this indemnification was added. And so let me take you through that process really quickly. Some of the members who have a censure consideration today, they will register. If they choose to run again, they will submit their application for filing with their local county party. Some their filing authority is the state party. Let me explain that. If a state representative, if their district is in one county, their filing authority is that county chair. If they have a multi-county district, their filing authority is the state chairman. Does everybody understand that? Next slide. This is the new speaker rule that was a result of last session. Next slide. You have fiduciary duties. We have talked about these over time. Next slide. You have a duty of care. You have a duty to pay attention to our organization's activities and operations. Next slide. You have a duty of loyalty. You have a duty to put the interest of the organization before any of your own interests. You hear me? Okay. So what does that mean? So if you really like someone who's running for office, you would not misuse or use your position as an SREC member to help that person. Okay, does that make sense? And what would be an okay thing to do under the duty of loyalty is to endorse someone. Okay, so let's say there's a state rep who you don't like, or they don't line up with your line of thinking. Well, go recruit somebody to run against them, a viable candidate, and endorse them, work for them, give them your time, talent, treasure. That would be acceptable. But trying to writing promoting a censure resolution just to promote yourself or someone else that you support is not the way to go. Next slide. You have a duty of obedience. I could make it funny, but I'm not. A duty to obey. And that just means to comply with law. Now, some would say, oh, well, you are not complying with law with the closed primaries. No, that's different. We are challenging the law. And we have taken years to set that up and develop that challenge. That is very different than flagrantly not following the law. Okay, next slide. We have said this before. I'm going to say it again. This is not about feelings. In fact, an example, there's one representative who I have heard a recording of in a phone call, and it was abhorrent. What was said, especially about a woman who I held in the most highest esteem. Yeah, I do not like that person. I think that was awful. That was horrible. They're one of the people there's a censure resolution against this person. Being a horrible person doesn't mean you should be censured. That is not part of the criteria. Does it mean you should find a candidate to run against them and you should give them your endorsement? And can you imagine if the whole SREC endorsed somebody? But I want you to understand this point. It's really important, is just because somebody is unlikable and has done something despicable does not mean they should be censured. Next slide. Censure should be meaningful. Up until now, these censures that the Republican Party of Texas and the State Republican Executive Committee have considered, the process has been, no one has been able to question it. No one has been able to, because it's been followed, and you had the support of the grassroots in doing what you're doing. Right now, you may be hearing from certain people, because I know you are, but the grassroots is divided. The grassroots, you have some censure resolutions that have come from some county parties, but you also have some resolutions that have come from county parties that say, do not do this, and certainly do not implement penalty 3. So there is a divide there. You may be hearing from one side or the other. You may be seeing one side or the other, but there are two sides. And then there's the lawyers. Next slide. Understand your power and authority as an SREC member. As I said before, today, you could find candidates to run against people. You can endorse people. You can work for people. Some of you are doing just that. So you have that authority right now. You propose resolutions all the time. You could make public statements. You can do a lot of things. There's a lot of tools in your tool belt. This isn't the only one. But this is one that can get us to court. Next slide. Next slide. As I said, on Thursday, we had a joint motion that we filed in our closed primary lawsuit. We are off to the races. On the legal issue front, at the beginning of the year, TRCCA they hired some lawyers. I don't think they're Republican, but don't know. Had some lawyers draft a memo saying assessing penalty 3 was illegal. I think there has been a lot of stoking the fire. There have been people who have gone to county parties and threatened to throw precinct chairs in jail. There have been people who have gone to county parties and threatened to file lawsuits and ruin people's lives, ruin precinct chairs' lives. That's wrong. That's awful. That's horrible. But that's separate and apart from what we're doing here today. There are actions that we can take against that, but I want you to understand that's a lot of noise out there. And from the other side, a lot of things have been handled the wrong way. Now, back to Rolando's point, is it intentional? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe incompetence. I don't know. But we need to look at the facts, not our feelings. Next slide. I'm going to go through these very quickly. You have this, but the next part of my presentation is going through some of the allegations, actually all of them. And if you go to the next slide, we're going to start with record votes 2 and 3. These are the speaker votes. And you go to the next slide. The way I did this is organized all 10 censure resolutions by act or allegation. And so if you look at this slide, this is record votes 2 and 3. And so record votes 2 and 3 appear in these office holders' resolutions. And so the first column is the office holder. The second column is the record vote that's in the resolution. The third column is what principle or priority is alleged to have been violated. Let me take you through that. So in the resolution against Speaker Burrows, record votes 2 and 3, somebody wants to punish him for voting for himself. So record votes 2 and 3 for Burrows are the record votes at issue. And then they're saying that that was a violation of Principle 5, which Principle 5 is personal accountability and responsibility. Okay. All of these need to be strictly read. So what I mean is, have any of you ever served on a jury? That's of course you have, because y'all are awesome. Thank you for going to jury duty. That's the way I think of this. And I really encourage you, for the rest of the day, turn off your devices, turn them on, do not disturb, do not listen to the outside noise. This is like when you go into the jury room and you shut that door behind you and it's just the 12 of y'all. Of course, it's more than 12, but that's where we're at here. And so in a trial, the jury has a jury charge. That is what these resolutions are. You can't change, you can amend them here today, but you can't add anything to them. You can only take back things that are on them. Do you understand that? So you have what you've been given, and that is what you are considering. So for Speaker Burrows, record votes 2 and 3 for himself, you can't say, I actually think that that's a violation of legislative priority 4. That's not what was alleged. So you cannot change that. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So record votes 2 and 3, these are the office holders, their record votes, they're the alleged violation of principal priority. Next slide. And this, again, this is in your digital packet. It's as a PDF, and it takes you through every act and every allegation. So this record vote 2 happened on January 14. It was the speaker vote. On the first vote, which is record vote 2, Dustin Burrows received 71 votes. Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos received 23, and David Cook received 56. So on that first vote, no one received the requisite number. Next slide. Then following that, and this is the pattern for every act and allegation that you have access to, is here is the actual list of who voted for what. So for Speaker Burrows, these were the votes. Next slide. And then next slide, this is who voted for David Cook on record vote 2. Next slide. Then at the end, on every act and allegation, you have a list of all the Republicans who voted the way that is being alleged to be a violation. Okay. So here are the list of 34 Republicans who voted for Dustin Burrows on record vote 2. Next slide. Next slide is record vote 3. So same thing here. So here is the date of the offense and kind of a description of what happened. And then next slide is the actual vote information. Next slide. And then next slide. Then you have who voted the same way. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. I'm going to kind of blow through these, and if you have questions that come up, you can ask them. Next slide. So record votes 9 and 10. This is on House Resolution 4. Next slide. So record votes 9 and 10, there are 2 pages of office holders where this is included in their censure resolution. And if we start, I'm not trying to pick on the speaker, but he's just alphabetically at the top. So Speaker Burrows, that allegation is record vote 9. And the allegation is that it violates Principle 5, personal accountability and responsibility. So what is HR 4? HR 4 is the